Morning. It is certainly morning for me. I am here with Shy Cohen, and I are going to be talking about Kamanja. That is probably a company name you're not super familiar with, but you're going to want to pay attention, especially if you are in the compliance world or you're considering being in the compliance world. And we're going to talk about what their solution does, who it's for, and very excited to share this with you today. So Shy Cohen, he is the CEO, the founder of this particular company. Shai, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jennifer. Much appreciated.
Of
Thank you
course,
very much.
absolutely. And where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Israel right now.
All
It's
right.
actually it's actually 6 p.m. right now.
So it's definitely not morning for you.
Yeah, not morning for me, but that's okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, I appreciate the time for sure. And what Kamanja is an end-to-end compliance as a service solution for MSPs. This is really intriguing to me because compliance is very complex. If you do well, whether you do it right or wrong, it carries with it some liability for the MSPs. And until now, compliance was really a pretty long, complex journey, and your goal is to make it easier and less complex. So, are you okay if we just dive into the Kamanja solution, and talk about the whys, the what is it, and things of that nature?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
awesome. Okay, so who is the ideal client for this particular solution?
So our ideal client is an MSPs and MSSPs and security consultant. They want to improve and save buying and operational costs, and to those MSPs that want to enter to this market, that they are already offering a solution for the clients, and their clients are requested for them for doing some compliance, and they don't know where to start, and they want to do is, so Kamanja is the right solution for them.
Okay, awesome. So when you founded this company, what was the problem that you were looking to solve? And were you targeting MSPs originally?
Yeah. So actually, the I was work on a small medium business, small company, small startup company that we must to be ISO 27001 compliance. So in order to be, and we took services from service provider in Israel. So when we want to be the ISO compliance, we first of all spoke with him and ask what is the process, and he don't know to answer us these questions. Then we start to figure it out how to do it with some compliance advisor. And when we try to do this with them, we find it very difficult to manage, very expensive. We have to buy a lot of solution during the compliance journey. We need to maintain solution to do it on the right way, right? We didn't only want the compliance stamp. We want really to be compliance and manage and improve our security. So then we start to figure it out that there is a problem here. If we want, if we want to help to do to us to make compliance, and we first of all speak with our MSP and they don't know how to handle it, maybe they say that we just developed such a solution that help them to the MSP to work with to help their client to be compliant. And also then after at the end we took some compliance expert, and it take for us a lot of hours to be compliant, and we had to use many solutions and manage Excel spreadsheets, words and policies, and create by our own, and many things that no one have time for it, but you must do this if you want to enter to some market, and if you want to work with the big bodies, right? So you must have it. um, so in that terms, Kamanja, what we did in Kamanja, we developed a really enterprise grade solution that help for those small medium businesses, mid-size, to be compliant through their MSPs, such as an enterprise companies easily. We do it in a different way that the other solution in the market. We bring something different. and we provide them with all the tools they needed, so they don't need to buy nothing during the compliance journey. This is the idea.
So
Just use.
let me ask you this. So obviously compliance is large and it is complex, as we said at the very beginning. And so let's kind of break some of these things down. One of the things that you mentioned was policies. So are
Yeah.
you providing sample policies? Are you providing templates? Are you writing custom policies? Like, let's park there for just a minute.
Good question. We provide the policy template, but the idea is not only to provide this template. The idea is to maintain it, to approve it, and to send it to the employees to review and approve it, and maintain it all over, right? So once something need to be approved, once something need to be changed, so you need to do it in the right way, right? Not just give the templates and everyone you review, and you send them, yes, I review this. Okay, do they really review this? How do you
And
how do you
and
make
are
sure?
they following it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is what we bring in Kamanja. It's not only giving you the task to be managed and give you with all the templates. It's a journey, right? It need to be done during all the organization life. That need to be maintained on the veins, right? This is the idea. And you in Kamanja, with it's very simple.
So is this completely done for you, or is it more of a done with you model?
Yeah, so it's actually done with you, model. This is the idea. We helping to the MSP and to the end clients by our partner enablement program to achieve the best from the system and from the clients.
Okay, got it. And then what about multi-tenancy? Because you're talking about your platform, you're talking about where the policies live. I know the MSPs that are listening are wondering multi-tenant or not.
Absolutely, yes. Right. This is a SaaS solution. So the system it's multi-tenancy. In 1-2 minutes, you generate a tenant for your client, and you can manage everything. You can swipe between clients easily, easy as that, right? This is the idea. Again, our agenda was bring to the MSP to answer their clients' requirements, plus do it easily. They don't need to do something very massive in order to use Kamanja.
So you mentioned the ability to kind of put a client on this platform is pretty quick and easy. What about getting the MSP to that point? Like, let's talk about like onboarding and training. What is that? What does that process look like? And is it difficult? Because sometimes there is a very heavy lift for some of these SaaS solutions.
Good question. So we build the unique solution. Again, it's because the system is built like this. That we have a partner enablement program that we help the MSPs with the sales, with the marketing, and with the onboarding until he feel comfortable to do it by himself. And even though we help him behind the scenes. The idea is that when you use Kamanja, you can onboarding in 40 hours your end client. Easy as that.
So
How we do it
let's talk
is our
about 40, but 40 hours is an entire week. So
yeah.
is that a week of somebody is going to need to be doing things for a week, or are there things happening behind the scenes that are automated, or is this 40 man
Oh,
hours?
this is actually both. It's depend again. Compliance is depend on the client on the client on the client objective and what it need to be, what you want, where you want to go. So it depends. But the answer is both. But there is when you do compliance, there is some task that you as an MSP or end client need to be done in your environment. We understand it and recognize it when we do gap analysis. We tell to the clients and we understand what are what are the tasks and what are the gaps that the end client need to be filled in order to start the process, right?
So I have never onboarded with a compliance as a service organization. Are you hearing any kind of concerns or pushback over that 40 hours to onboard a client?
Actually, it's actually good because if you do it manually, from my experience with a lot of end clients and a lot of advisory that we spoke, the minimum starting point, it's around 80 to 100 hours to start the process, right? To
Got
start.
it. So you are at least cutting that in half, if not a little more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
So
and so let's talk about the end user client. So we've got the MSP; they're now a partner with Kamanja, and they have clients who need to be compliant. So some of the more obvious examples of that would be medical clients, perhaps financial clients. But what about anybody who has requirements from their cyber insurer? Steve is online and saying, is this useful for MSPs who have clients who need cyber insurance?
yeah, the question is yes. Part of our solutions, it's actually questionnaires and gap analysis field that you can use our templates, create your cyber insurance spread with your clients, answer the question, export and send it to the insurance company. The idea is that we give you, again, you don't need all the time send to your client, okay, you didn't fill this, you didn't fill this, you forgot this. You just review it on the system and send him a recommendation, or send him a notification you need to fill it, and you missed it. Everything is going through to communication, and it make it very easy.
Got it. Okay. And so, what about the MSPs themselves? So, obviously, we're hearing, protect your own house, and we're hearing that MSPs themselves are being targeted by criminals and things of that nature. And I know that cybersecurity and compliance are not the same thing, but they are closely tied to one another. And so, if you can shore up your compliance posture, then you are better on the cybersecurity side. So, how would an MSP engage with Kamanja if they just wanted to secure themselves, at least as a start?
Good question. This is a very good question. During our journey with the MSP market, we understand that before you're providing a compliance solution, and you need to understand that what will be the best way to learn it instead of doing it on yourself. So, in some packages and in some circumstances, Kamanja offers that before you even start to implement it on your client, you can, with Kamanja, free of charge, make your own compliance with ISO SOC 2 and any compliance that you choose, and we are helping you to gain to this certificate. Easy as that, right?
Yeah, that's amazing because you're right. Doing all of these, getting familiar with the platform and rolling out policies and procedures inside of your own network that you know intimately, and you probably know where the gaps are and where some of the challenges are. What a great
Absolutely.
way to kind of trial the tool, if you will. So, and so that's an awesome opportunity for MSPs to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I run into a lot, especially compliance is relatively new. It's a little confusing for the MSP. It's even more confusing for the end user. Is marketing support and sales support. So finding out clever ways or unique ways to have that conversation with the end user to sell a compliance engagement, which is very different from a traditional managed services engagement. It's usually a project and some ongoing support and maintenance, if you will. But do you offer any kind of marketing advice or sales support? Can you help me understand where you stand with that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is actually a good question, because at the end, this is the hardest way, right? You need to sell the solution. You are the best on this market, how to sell this type of solution. But let me put a little bit insight when it comes to compliance and Kamanja packages, right? So when you become a partner again, you have an access to our partner portal, and then you can and we helping you through the portal to be trained how to do marketing. We provide you with all the collaterals, how to do sales, right, to the end client, and identify. First of all, you need, when you do compliance, there is a lot of variety on the market. So to the end client, it will come maybe for their client that requested them. Maybe if you work with European, you must do GDPR. If do you work with the DoDs, you must do CMMC and etc. Right. So the first of all that we learn our MSPs, let's ask, let's fill some questionnaire that need to understand what your clients need, or what you even don't know that he needs. Right. this is where we start. And we train our MSP how to ask the right question, and together we are analyze it and bring to the end client a really valuable solution and what you really needs. This is the meaning of Kamanja actually. So to tailor made the needs for the end client, not providing not something that you don't need.
So are these marketing campaigns, or are they advertisements that people could put in chamber newsletters, or put in their own newsletters, or what is it, more talking points on the marketing side? Can we unpack that just a little bit more?
Yeah, it can be like via webinars, it can be via newsletters. It's quite, we have a variety of ways how to enter to this market for the MSP. Most of them will do webinars, newsletter, create some white papers, start to speak with your clients and expose them to what compliance is, how they can do it easily, explain to them that if, for example, the MSPs already manage their all the IT environment, right? So the best way will do that. If they again they have the right solution to manage also their compliance, because if they bring another compliance advisor to do it for them, then they will need to speak with the MSP to do some configuration in the environment, right? So when you use the right tool, the MSP provide both of them. You just say to the end client, I manage the compliance and I do the configuration. There is no misunderstood, and there is no any problems in that progress. It's make it more easy, right?
Got it. And then what compliance standards do you align with? I've heard you mention GDPR. I've heard you mention SOC. So there's obviously quite a few. Which ones are you supporting today? And then can you future cast a little bit for us, like maybe in the first half of next year?
Absolutely. So these days we have ISO 27001, GDPR SOC 2, Type 1 and Type 2. We also have PCI, we also have EPA, and we also have CMMC. By the end of the next quarter of 23, we will have PCI DSS, CIS, um, PCI DSS, CIS, and NIST, and many more.
Okay, perfect. So when did you first begin, and how is adoption going, or what kind of feedback are you getting inside of the channel?
Yeah, so good question. So actually, when we designed the solution, we understand the problem from the first day that we're working. So in Israel, there is a few big MSPs that control the market, and we design the solution with MSPs for MSPs. This is how we like to call it, right? So in Israel, we have the biggest one that called One Security, is a public company that manage hundreds, or maybe thousands of small medium businesses, and you use our system, and you really love what we do.
I love it.
And now, yeah, and we just landed in the US. This is our target market, with a few months ago, and we already have a few partners in here, and we, land and expand, right?
Yes, 100%. Okay, and if technology cooperates, we're going to bring in one of your MSP partners. So we've got, waiting in the green room, we've got Seth Keelander. Seth is the CEO of an MSP in Denver, Colorado, KI Security. And Seth has been using your solution. I don't believe he's able to go on camera right now. He's working an event. So he was able to kind of dodge out of the event for just a couple of minutes, hopefully talk to us if his microphone is working. Seth, are you able to hear us?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, for carving out just a little bit of time. I know you're super busy. So you've been using the Kamanja platform. Can you give us an idea what you were looking to achieve when you first engaged with Kamanja?
So a little bit, just real quick, a little background to us. We are a security compliance focused provider. So, and we focus in private equity. So the majority, our primary focus. So every client we work with at some level is going to require, whether it's a framework tracking. We ourselves are SOC 2 and ISO. So we needed something that allowed us to not just, fill out a spreadsheet and all the kind of things and check boxes. We need something that allowed us to get into those compliance and frameworks a lot deeper and make sure that we're leveraging, as far as we can, across ourselves and our entire base. Just because there's really nothing out there like Kamanja right now that allows us to tackle that.
So you were able to go from manual kind of piecing the data together to having it in a single platform.
Correct. And that's been paramount for how we operate and how we service our clients.
So one thing that we were talking about just a couple of minutes ago, may have been right before you joined, was onboarding a client and how it is typically taking an MSP who's doing this manually anywhere from 80 to 100 plus hours to onboard a client and get everything documented. And Kamanja's claim is that you can onboard a client in about 40 hours. So does that line up with your experience? Like, are you seeing that the onboarding of a client time, that just the time to make that happen is significantly shorter now?
Well, absolutely. And that comes across on multiple levels. So obviously when you just use the phrase onboarding, there's multiple tiers for us in the service side. But when you get down to the compliance and the tracking and the frameworks, I mean, it's not just, oh yes, we have these lists and whatever else, but being able to keep that organized. We all have different systems, but to be able to work within the Kamanja platform is, yes, it's sped it up. It's allowed us to, the linking between different rules and how they all tie together. It just brings it together. Sorry, we've got, I'm in New York City right now. We've got ambulances going by.
It's okay. I can just barely hear them. Your mic is doing a great job of knocking them out of the audio.
I'll step away from the lobby here. So I apologize. I had to step out of a conference. So the way that it's tied everything together for us, I mean, even we've looked at ways of streamlining our system and kind of the old way of doing things. And this has definitely vaulted us as far as the time constraints and everything else that are usually required. So yes.
I love it. And okay, I'm going to ask you one more question and then I'll let you get back to your conference. And again, thank you for making the time to pop out and talk to us for a couple of minutes. I really appreciate it. So last question, you're in the situation where all of your clients need to meet compliance standards and have ongoing compliance. What would your advice be if you were talking to an MSP that just had, 15% of their base that is aware that they need to be in compliance? Would you still recommend that they have a conversation with Kamanja?
Oh, absolutely. We are always looking at, say, like VCISO tools, other things that allow us to bring these different services to our clients. But at the end of the day, a lot of them are for different types of tracking. This is specifically, let's put it this way, there are very few companies in our space who have truly stepped over and to say becoming themselves SOC 2 or ISO certified. It is not an easy process for any company. Yes. But in our space, just to make sure that someone like us is doing it for our clients and then helping our clients reach a different level, especially even just getting them on a specific framework. We're not even worrying about the certifications, making sure they're getting down those T's. It is so paramount in the next minimum of the next year or two. I mean, the regulations that are coming down across so many new industries, but especially industries that already fall under compliance, it's almost a requirement these days to make sure that one way or another you're tracking. And the beautiful thing about Kamanja for companies who aren't living compliance is it makes sure that they're at least, it gives them all the tools they need. We spent a lot of time, a lot of money putting everything together for our own internal compliance, for our own systems, right? This basically just pulls all that together, stuff and we know it, right? So we can follow it, we know it's there, we see it. But for someone who has that smaller percentage of client base, it gives them everything that they're not recreating the wheel like we would have to, right? Or we had to getting to this point, I guess is the point.
I love the perspective, because what I heard you say is it's almost more important for the MSP that doesn't do compliance all day long to have a resource like Kamanja who can come alongside and backfill the knowledge base and things of that nature, maybe even more so than for you. Now, your use case is that you need it for all of your clients. So I love the perspective. So any last thoughts before you hop back into your event?
I'd say the biggest thing right now, so working with Shai and his team and Kamanja in general, one of our favorite vendors just and just regardless because of the relationships that they build and they want to build, and their willingness to, I guess, engage with the clients, so their clients, whether it's their partners or whatever, to make sure that the tools are meeting the standards or meeting the, I guess, maybe new requests. Like they're on top of what they have to be on top of. But just from a partner side, for us to go to them and say, hey, we would really like to be able to have this particular feature because it would save us this time or whatever. They're able to pivot and work with us to figure out if it's something they can put into their platform or something they may already be working on. We can work with them on that. Not a lot of vendors right now are either able to pivot like that or willing to pivot like that. Yes. So it's been a fantastic experience just on that front as a partnership with them to make sure that everyone's meeting what they need to. And because they're focused on compliance, they have to meet those legal side, but also to make sure that they're meeting the needs and the requests of the actual industry itself is huge. It's not staying like there's no ego in a sense, right? There's like, well, this is how we do it, deal with it. You get that a lot right now in the industry. Shai and his team are just like, no, let's make this happen. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out what's needed. And he's like, hey, have you thought about this? Let's look at this angle. Like, oh my God, that's even better. So that's been one of the best parts of this experience as well. While we're working with them, is they bring us a tool that we need, but now we can also give feedback on things that we've been experienced over the last, we've been doing this 20 years, and be able to say, hey, we really think you should look at this here too. And they take it to heart and they start working on it and having discussions with whatever else. It's very rare.
Seth, this was already a good conversation, but you popping on and being able to chat with us for a few minutes has elevated it from very good to great. And that soundbite that you just shared about a vendor that truly looks at you as a partner and looks at themselves as partnering with you, that particular soundbite, which was maybe 3-4 minutes, is probably something that every vendor in the space should listen to, because you just told companies in our channel how they can get unbelievable loyalty from technology service providers there in just a quick little nutshell. So again, thank you for your time, Seth. I'll let you pop back to your conference. But thank you very much for just sharing your time with us. I've got a couple more questions for Shai, but amazing. Thank you so much.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you, Seth. Bye-bye.
I'm so glad you brought him on. Okay, so a couple more questions. I want to specifically pivot to, so Seth was talking about the kind of the finance arena and how he works with specific types of companies. Let's pivot just a little bit over to banks. So banks have to be audited. How is Kamanja supporting that auditing piece of the equation, of the SOC audits, et cetera?
So good question. For doing SOC audits, SOC 2 audits, it must be done via a CPA, right? So we have our CPA that work. Of course, you can work with all of the big four companies that do the SOC audit for you, and we just provide them a user to the system. They can review everything. In some big four, we are working with integration to connect to this to their system and get some evidence. But once you work with CPAs that are knowing from Kamanja, that they know Kamanja, and we have few of them, you just give them an access to the system, they review everything, and through the system, they're telling you which control is compliant and which you find as non-conformity and what need to be done in order to improve that. There is a full communication between the auditor and the end client in order to do so.
Brilliant. Okay, so last question. This one's an easy one. If someone wants to learn more about the Kamanja platform, maybe schedule a demo, because I'm sure there's things that we certainly didn't share any screens, but seeing really a peek under the hood, understanding exactly what Kamanja is all about, and kind of putting it through its paces. What's the best way for someone to reach out to you?
Good. So first of all, you can join me. You can connect me on LinkedIn. Kamanja, through Kamanja page, or through our website www.kamanja.io. It's just down. In their top right corner will be a book a demo. Just press on it. You can get the link to my calendar and feel free to contact me, and I will do a demo, and my team will do a demo for you anytime that you just choose.
I love it. So one last future casting question. What do you think 2023 is going to look like for technology service providers from the compliance standpoint?
That's good. Many of the compliance are changing. For example, ISO 27001. There is a few changes on the CMMC that people are just that we saw it right now with the levels. Um, and I think that the compliance will be if it was just manage controls and tasks. Now MSPs, before they do compliance, must be compliance by themselves, because they will request it from the regulation this day or another. I really believe that this is what will happen, because they have an access to some data of the end clients, right? So they must be com- compliance before they do compliance or provide any services. So again, if you are already compliant, so and you know the process, why not selling that to your end client, and just don't do a refers and etc. So
Amazing.
the big challenges will be, how do you adapt to these new changes, and how do you make it from something that's an headache to something that you can grow and grow your margin from, right? This is the magic. So bookman, I will explain to you.
I love it. What I'm hearing is a whole lot of opportunity for technology service providers. So that's
Yeah,
always an amazing, amazing look at what we think the next 12 months is going to look like. Shai,
absolutely.
thank you so much for your time. It's going to be fun to watch your success if through the rest of this year and into next. We'll have to do this again, maybe at the end of next year, just to
No
circle back
problem.
and see what is coming in 2024. I'm not even going to try to predict that sitting from where we are now, but in a year we may be able to do that. So very excited about what Kamanja is doing inside of the
Thank
channel,
you.
helping MSPs get compliant themselves, as well as helping to streamline, maybe not automate, but streamline the compliance journey for their clients as well. So
Thank you very much.
100% my pleasure. Have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you. Just one last thing, if I have.
Sure.
I want. Do you know I very addicted book reader, and I in the last the ones who follow me know that I recommended about books, and all the MSPs that are just watching us. I really recommend you to read uh, the book. The book the book that wrote by the Jennifer Blim, very recommended. You will gain a
I'm
lot of
sure I have a
information.
copy around here
Yeah,
somewhere.
or you can buy it in few bucks of dollars through Amazon. This is what I did. A good job. So
Wonderful. Thank you.
thank you very much.
Obviously a labor of love. The goal is to get it up on Audible by the end of the year.
Yeah,
I recorded all of the book, and then the audio wasn't good enough. It was so I have to re-record it. I need to find 4 hours to re-record a book.
yeah,
And hopefully we will still make our end of year deadline. So that's the goal. Then it will be on Amazon as well as Audible. So that's the plan. We'll see if we make it before January 1st. But thank you for the kudos. I appreciate it.
thank you.
That the book is phenomenal. It's a great book
Yeah,
on sales, selling cybersecurity, and I'm sure there are lessons in there for selling compliance as well. And we'll be chatting about some 2023 initiatives as well. I know in the days and weeks to
yeah.
come. So thank you. Great ad. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that. Have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye bye.